I'm Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday tone tip. On today's video, I want to talk about mono and stereo presets for live use and why I always keep a copy of my main preset set up for mono usage and stereo usage. This is a PRS DGT in drop C going into the Axe FX3. This is my main live preset. There's quite a lot going on in here, but essentially, it's not really that complicated. The amp, gate, cab, parametric EQ, and multi-band compressor, I've all talked about on separate videos before. I just think of that as like my tone generator block. I've got a wah, a phaser, a chorus, a rotary, a filter, some delays, reverb, and some wonderful stereo pitch detune on here. I've also got a parametric EQ filter and comp for a clean sound. But this is my main live rhythm tone. I'll switch over to scene 2 so you can hear the lead tone, the stereo detune, reverb, and delays really sound awesome in full stereo. Because of course they do. They're stereo. I consider this a best case scenario preset if I'm playing in a big room with a stereo PA, with a sound engineer who wants a stereo guitar signal, which has happened plenty of times before. And it's been really enjoyable having panning delays live and having that pitch detune on there to kind of make your single guitar sound a little bit wider and girthier. Like I said, best case scenario, but as we all know, playing live is rarely the best case scenario. Some venues simply don't have the channels on the desk to have a stereo guitar. Some of them have mono PAs, so there is no advantage to running in stereo. So the question comes up, what do you do with your glorious stereo preset when you have to actually go out and play through a mono PA? Well, one way to do it would be simply to go to the Setup tab. You can do this from the front panel. I'll do it in Axe Edit now, and navigate to the Audio section over here. Here you can set up the different input and output configurations. So you can see my output 1 is set up to be in stereo with the output level at plus 4 dB with the phase normal. Don't worry about the phase or the output level at the moment. It's all about this stereo setting here. So you just heard it in stereo. We can change that with a single click. We can either set up the left channel to simply be exactly the same as the right channel. That's copy left to right. Or I can set up the two channels to collapse into mono. That would be some left and right. I'll let you hear the difference between those. It's pretty subtle with this. I might turn on my lead scene for this, but we'll start out with copy left to right. So there's not going to be any cool dual delays or panning or anything, and the detune won't sound as effective. However, in that copy left to right mode, you can probably hear in there that you're getting like a more affected signal on there. The sum left and right mode makes the overall like mono guitar image a little more prominent. That's what I hear in there anyway. That is going to come down to a variety of different factors with the way those blocks that are doing stereo things collapse into mono. So phase issues can be an issue when you use the sum left and right mode. I'll show you an example. I'll actually replace this multi-tap delay with a standard delay block over here. I'll go to my library and I might pick out, say, like a nice panning 2290 delay or something like that. I'll actually get rid of the panning aspect of it, so I'll turn that off. But you know, the 2290 is a beautiful thing in stereo with the phase cancellation. It sounds like this. I had a little bit of ducking on there as well, so you can hear as the delay kind of swells back up, you've got this wider than wide stereo image. Now, if I set the output mode to copy left to right, I'm still going to hear a delay. It's not going to have that really cool spatial effect. However, the 2290 phase reverses the left and right channels of the delay. So if I set it to some left and right, they're going to cancel out. I'm not going to get any delay. So be aware of that issue if you are going to change the output modes on your Axe-Fx. Personally, I like to just adapt my preset to mono and use one of the hundreds of spare preset slots to have a mono version of my preset. So I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to come down here and you'll see straight away that I've gotten rid of the pitch block that was doing the stereo dual detune. That effect, for me, only really sounds good when you're running in stereo, so there's no reason to have it in a mono preset. Furthermore, the multi-tap delay that I had in the preset has a dual delay and also like basically a stereo chorus baked into it. Watch last week's video where I was talking about the multi-tap delay, but I don't have that panning effect. So what I've done is just simplified it and gone with the diffused delay set to a quarter note. So I'm just gonna have like a single delay line. It's gonna be fine in mono. I'm gonna be happy with it. Furthermore, in the reverb, I have turned the stereo spread all the way down to 0. So now I have a properly mono reverb. I don't have to worry about the potential phase issues for like the reverb image or just getting only the left channel or the right channel in there. So I find doing that, taking any stereo effects that I've got, like the rotary in here and turning the stereo spread down to 0. And I just save it as a mono preset in there. And it's happy days. I did the same thing with the chorus. I think the chorus had some phase reverse stuff happening in there that I've turned off. I've turned the width down to 0 and it's all fine. Again, you're playing in mono. Mono can still sound great. Mono and stereo aren't necessarily worse or better than one another. It just depends on the situation you're in. Let me play this preset for you. This way I've got a preset that works fine in mono and I don't have to change any of the global settings on my Axe-Fx. One reason for that is in the past when I've changed the global settings, even though they're very, very convenient, I often forget to turn them back. So if I do a gig in mono with my stereo preset set to say copy left to right or some left and right, then I go to the next gig and I'm running in stereo and I start playing, if I've forgotten to revert that back to stereo, kind of go, where's all my cool panning stuff going on? What's happened in there? Whereas if I have a preset, which is in this case called Ragdoll Stereo or Ragdoll Mono, I get to the gig, I look at my FC controller and I go, oh, I'm on the mono preset, but the sound guy just told me that I'm playing in stereo. So I'll just switch over to the stereo preset. Everything in it is the same except for the imaging on all the effects, which I've already taken care of, turning the stereo spread down to 0 and getting rid of anything like the enhancer or pitch detune on there. So that's how I personally handle stereo and mono usage live. Let me know how you do it in the comment section below. Do you just run stereo all the time and, you know, let the sound guy deal with it? Or do you like having different presets for different applications? I would love to hear from you. If you've got suggestions for future videos, let me know in the comment section below. Have a great day and I will see you all next week. Let's go back to the stereo preset, shall we? And I'll play you all out.